That's one small step for gamer, and one giant leap for gamer kind. Hey, what's up? I'm Fūnk-é Joseph, a featured contributor at Fanbyte, and I'm in space with Fanbyte's head of media, John Warren. Hey, John.
Hello, I'm bouncing around on a new planet. Oh
Yes.
no, I've floated into space. Pull me back, pull me back, pull me back.
John, I'm going out. I'm going out. 1 second, I'm looking at the view. It's gorgeous here. Yeah, today we got another First Byte preview. You already know what it is. We are diving into Jett, The Far Shore, an interstellar exploration game coming to PS5, PS4, and PC very, very soon. This is a game from Super Brothers, who you might know from their Sword and Sorcery EP, and a new studio called Pine Scented Software. John, I wanted to have a little chat with you about this game as we check out this footage, because I just started playing a few days ago, and being a cool-ass plane just drifting on the water is so cool.
It's pretty
and so
chill,
relaxing.
Yeah.
How have you been finding it so far?
There are a lot of really cool things I could say about this video game. It is a little bit different than I expected it to be. I expected a little bit more like on-foot exploration, but you really are kind of chilling in this Jett. You know, I should have known. It's called Jett.
It is called Jett.
I mean, it's not called Walk on Foot. It's called Jett, The Far Shore. So I probably could have figured that out. But yeah, it's like a really cool like ship exploration game on land, and like Super Brothers came out like a decade ago, and it is wild to me that, you know, this is really only their second official game. I think the folks involved with them have, you know, made other stuff as well, but like this is the second label of Super Brothers, and I think like I don't know. I think this game is really, really cool. I definitely want to know what you think of kind of the first like half hour of it, because I was really struck by how they set this game up.
Yeah. And for those of you watching who don't know, the idea for this game is that you play as a scout searching for a new habitable planet for your people who are currently living on a doomed one. And the opening section is like you leaving your village, and everyone's watching you and sending you off to space, and it's really sad. I don't know.
It's so sad. It is.
You don't even know these people.
It's so mournful. It's mournful. And I think that's something I can't really remember the last time a game leaned into that so hard, at least in the first like half hour of it.
Instantly. It throws all of this on you. And yeah, it's a real cryptic, calm, and generally cool world.
Yeah.
And it really stands out to me because it pushes against the kind of intergalactic colonialist tones that a lot of these games have.
Sure.
And just like, I don't know, it's a trapping of the genre, it feels like. But yeah, Jett, The Far Shore encourages a less invasive approach to checking out new places. There is no combat, and instead of terraforming, it's more like you're morphing yourself to fit the ideas of this planet. It's really cool in that sense. Like I love the way you interact with the environment and the weird creatures and the structures.
So there's like a scanning mechanic, which like of course is one of my favorite things to do in any video game. It's just, you know, scanning stuff for more information, and you get to know this planet's flora and fauna that way.
Yes.
And I think the thing that I was struck by, and there's some real playfulness in the game with these mechanics, is that at least at the start you've got this scanner and this flashlight and a grappling hook, and basically the interplay of those three things can, you know, change things about the world and change things about the flora and fauna that are very unexpected and interesting. And your sense of wonder is compounded by your protagonist's sense of wonder. May is a cool protagonist, and you're hanging out with Esau at the very beginning, and you're both very already protective of this new world that is not yours, and you don't want to do anything bad to it. You just want to understand if this is a place for you. You want to investigate a mysterious signal called the Him Wave, which is very mystical. And there's like a reverence to like the exploration, instead of, like you just said, all of the colonialist themes of a lot of games that even don't necessarily have like a colonialist tone, but it's like even like No Man's Sky, it's about like go in, name a thing,
dig up this
plant
planet,
your
take
flag.
all the resources.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely a different approach to this kind of game, and I appreciate that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you touch on there, like it's super respectful, in the way that the characters think about the world, because they are coming from a world that's kind of like ours in a few years, where it's just so much destruction and the people haven't treated the planet right, just taking it for granted. But the mentalities that these characters come into the new planet with is like, we can't make that same mistake again. Like, we are the first people here. We have to preserve this and really like remember its beauty. The first landing moments that we actually started this video on, Isau's like, let's just take a moment. Like, this is historical. Yeah. Let's just take a moment and look out into the ocean and appreciate this planet, which is so sweet.
I think it's really deliberate that you May, the protagonist, is basically chosen at the very beginning as being like the mystic that goes with this science team to navigate this new world. Your character has this kind of like attachment and connection to nature, it feels like, and so there is this kind of built-in sense of respect with what's going on around you, and I think that was like that's such a deliberate approach, and I don't know yet how it unfolds to the end game, but like there is this like otherworldliness of kind of the things that they want to discover here that do seem to be connected to the flora and fauna, and it's like a very, I don't know, it's like setting something up that I'm very interested to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, the initial like layout of all of the concepts and the history of this world are so fascinating.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like when we, explore more of this planet. I'm only a few hours in right now, but it's already like, dang.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
I'm getting a lot more out of it than when I first played like No Man's Sky, which is another, I guess, a close conceptual comparison, even though the systems and mechanics are pretty different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just really digging this.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say that it is much more linear in the early going than, a No Man's Sky. There's a lot of guided exploration, but that's not to say that like you can't discover things kind of off the beaten path and like discovering like a large sea monster that you weren't necessarily directed to immediately was like really rewarding, and I don't know, there's some just really cool stuff, and you'll see a lot of stuff in the distance, and you just get the sense you're like, okay, I'm gonna see that at some point, and I love that feeling in an exploration game.
Absolutely. Also, I'm biased because I really love ambient tunes, but I wanted to know if the soundtrack by composer Scientific has been hitting for you.
I think this is one of the best game soundtracks I've heard in a minute, actually. Yeah. It's not just the ambient stuff, but like I also want to say it's a combination of things. I think the music and the sound design is astonishing for this game, but also like honestly like these directorial choices of like holding long shots at the beginning and like making you kind of breathe in a moment. There's when you're leaving the space station and landing on this planet at some point, they hold just this long shot of you entering the atmosphere, and the music swells in this really interesting way, and I think it is such a confident way to direct a game like this, that like you might be chomping at the bit to just like explore this world, but the game is telling you, hey, we'll slow it down, like
relax, take your time.
This is right, and I think the music helps with that a lot, and it's just a banger of a soundtrack so far. Yeah,
absolutely. Have you played many of these space exploration type games?
I you know what, I kind of if it's not No Man's Sky, I've kind of bounced off of it. So like Elite Dangerous and things like that, I'm very interested in those things, but then I feel like the systems throw maybe just a little bit too much at me, and I go, ugh, okay. And in that regard, I do appreciate the simplicity of you know, the 4 or 5 things that you can do with the ship, and that's kind of what you're doing.
It makes exploring feel less stressful because I also get that overload of mechanics and stuff like Eve as well. Where I'm like, oh my god, the screen is so busy. I just want to look at space and be like, whoa.
I have focus issues in big open games. I can really get unfocused and kind of lose the forest for the trees. And Jett is a game that is there to focus you on something. Which
seriously, and those opening moments do such a great job of that as well. Like as you said, like they stick on that, and he sounds like, hey, see that mountain over there? We're gonna go there sometime, but it's gonna be a journey to get there. And you're just falling. It's awesome. Also, I've been playing on PS5, and I've really been liking the tension that the DualSense has added to the experience. Like,
interesting.
In general, it still doesn't feel like we're in a new gen, but when games use the controller to mimic water or rain, I'm just like, I get goosebumps. It really
see
works.
now I'm kind of bummed that I've been playing it on PC. I should have played it on PS5. Yeah, I always forget about that. I'm like, I do kind of like the haptic feedback of some of these games. So what happens with like the rain and stuff?
It the rain like drizzles like an astrobot on like vibrates in different sections of your hand.
That's cool.
And also when you're like using your scram jets on the water, you can like feel the waves rupturing to the side, I guess, like around the ship. It's really subtle stuff, but it really adds to the. I know it really adds to the experience. It's those little things that I'm like, oh dang, this world is awesome. That's awesome. Also, I don't know if you watching heard the language they're speaking, but it's completely made up.
Yes.
In an interview with Rock Paper Shotgun, the devs spoke about their process, and they spliced a bunch of real-life dialects and choral music into a blender to create like something that's really muddled and familiar.
Yeah.
I really feel like they've aced it from what I've seen, but how do you feel about that voice language synthesization, I guess, in games in general?
It just, well, I love it. I love those created languages, or I think it's like invented language. There's some specific term for it, but like you know, you can pick out when they're it's funny, it's like, it's not like I know this language, but by a couple hours in, I am picking up on a few of the words, right? And it instantly makes you feel like you're somewhere else, obviously, but I just appreciate the confidence of it. I think it's like it's a move that took a lot of obviously it took a lot of time and took a lot of like effort to create something like that, and I think it adds a lot to the atmosphere.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely, especially when things feel so like another version of Earth that you're leaving to go explore a new planet. It's nice to feel a bit distant from the characters, even though like they're sharing the same experiences that we might eventually, but I don't know, it's a good time.
It's a cool game for sure.
Yeah, it's the Jett the Far Shore is about 10 to 12 hours, and it drops on October 5th. And thank you, John, for joining me today on this First Byte.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This is my first Byte appearance, and I'm so excited.
First Byte.
Let's
Byte. Go.
Yeah.
Many more to come.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed watching, let us know in the comments, and if you liked the vid, smash that like button, tell a friend, and check out the site. Have a good one, gamers, and remember, we have to destroy every CEO of large corporations so we can save the environment and break out of the shackles of this living dystopia where a game like this doesn't even seem far from reality. We gotta get out of here. Bye, I'm in space.
Bye, I'm floating.
We're blasting off in space.